talk some Tennessee defensive backs. Cooper Mays, what should we do?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
And what down is it, Coop? Did you know that sometimes on our show, the center calls the down, Jimmy, which makes no sense?
Yeah, but it's Cooper Mays.
Cooper here. First down.
First down, Coop. All right, so Tennessee's defensive backs, or cornerbacks particularly. We're talking just cornerbacks. We'll do safeties another day. But first down, who's the most dependable cornerback that Tennessee has? I'll open it up to both of you guys because I don't really know at this point, Jim.
Rickey Gibson. He played more than any other cornerback that was young that's returning. They lost 7 defensive backs from last year's team in the portal. Many of them is like a so what. But I think Gibson showed the most promise. I thought he was the best player. He got the most snaps. And so I think he is the most reliable cornerback returning for Tennessee.
Caleb?
Yeah, to Jimmy's point, I was dead wrong. Between the 2 4-stars last year, I thought Jordan Matthews was going to be the star over Rickey Gibson, and it looks like Rickey Gibson is the star, but that's just my bias too. I've never seen a Louisiana prospect not work out when it comes to Tennessee. But I'm going to go actually a newcomer. I'm going to go Jermod McCoy, the Oregon State transfer. He is proven. I do believe was freshman all Pac-12. And I think he's just going to lock down a starting job overnight at cornerback for Tennessee.
I will go with Gibson, like Jimmy. It's an easy way out, but I don't think that any of us believe there's a truly dependable cornerback, do we? And anybody?
I think Gibson could be, and I think McCoy could be. I think the 2 we named actually could be, but I don't know what you guys think.
Well, I would say dependably decent.
Dependably decent.
But not somebody that's an all SEC caliber player and not somebody that's a lockdown corner, but he's somebody you could play with and win with.
All right, if you have a question about a particular defensive back, go ahead and throw it out there. Let's go for second down, Coop.
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
All right. Second down is this. Who has to step up? Who is the player? And if I may start first, I'm going to go with Jordan Matthews. I mean, Caleb and I have both been high on him, and now he's seemingly gotten surpassed by Rickey Gibson. They're both 4-star prospects. You would think they would have 2 lockdown corners by now, but they've got one that's okay and one that hasn't lived up to the hype that Caleb and I have helped build up. I'm going with Matthews as far as stepping up, Jim.
Well, I don't want to repeat people that have been mentioned. So I'm going to go, I think he's a corner. I'm going to go with Jalen McMurray from Temple, the transfer. They need, I think at least 2 of these transfers need to be, and I think the guy from MTSU, Jacoby Thomas, I think he's a safety. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, he's a safety.
I think McMurray is another guy. And it's kind of a bracket. It's either McCoy or McMurray that needs to come through. But I'll take McMurray as somebody that has shown promise at Temple, pretty good player. I think he needs to step up. And by the way, you need to have some depth in the defensive backfield. And he may not end up being a corner. He might be the nickelback, which in essence is a glorified corner, right? So I'm going to go with McMurray from Temple.
Well, when it's not the best band ever.
Yeah.
Well, nickelback. Oh, my God. All right. So, Caleb, we're going to get into this on third down, but Jimmy and I were talking before the show, and there's going to be a lot of guys that we're not sure if they're safeties or corners, but I think some of that's going to be determined in the spring. But for what we know right now, who's Mr. Step Up? Who has to do that in spring practice?
Well, I am going to repeat because I don't see anybody but Jordan Matthews fitting that mold. And I actually like Jalen McMurray. I'm with you, Jimmy. I think McMurray and McCoy will find roles in – I could see a Gabe Judy-Lally type player in Jalen McMurray from last year, but I think that Jordan Matthews, there's no excuse for him to not be a leap off your screen type of player. I'm not going to go like star Alontae Taylor or Bryce Thompson or somebody like that, but there was too much talent for him to not work his way into the rotation last year.
Yep. What down, Coop?
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
Jimmy, we've already mentioned some guys we're not sure if they're going to play safety or corner or nickel or whatever. So is versatility in this particular group of guys good, or is it a sign that nobody's really grabbed onto the position?
I think you want versatility from your defensive backs. You want them to have the ability to play corner or nickel and safety. I don't know who all can do that with this group. Here's the thing that's kind of funny about this. I actually think there's some defensive backs in this group that have talent. I just don't know if they can perform at the level that they need to win in the SEC. They certainly didn't a year ago. And what was kind of ironic to me was that of these 7 defensive backs that left the program, most of them went to Power 5 conferences, Power 5 schools. So like Georgia Tech or Louisville or wherever. So what does that say about Tennessee not getting the most out of the players? I don't know for sure, but I do think there's decent talent. I do think you want them to be versatile, but I cannot tell you that they have multiple players over there that are as adept at playing corner and safety or nickel and safety. I don't know that yet.
Caleb, Jimmy alluded to something there that we're going to get into on 4th down, and that's coaching. But first, is versatility with this group good, or is it a sign that nobody has attacked and grabbed a position?
I think versatility in the secondary is always a sign that no one's attacked and grabbed the position, quite honestly. And I think that's always been, they talk like positionless football a lot of times, but whenever I've watched positionless football or positionless basketball, I just see nobody really stepping up in a role that they're supposed to step up in. I kind of turn it back to receivers for a minute. I remember, and Jimmy and Dave, you guys probably remember very well too, Butch Jones ran like 5 or 6 receivers out all over the field in different spots all the time, and nobody really was able to emerge or step up because of that. And I see the same with defensive back. I think you should have guys locked into positions. If you can.
All right. What down, Coop?
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down.
Thanks, Coop, for bringing the energy as always. Coaching, how much is that a factor? Jimmy, we've talked about Willie Martinez before. How much is coaching a factor? 4 downs brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas there in Athens. Having the best spas made right here in the United States of America in your backyard. Dynasty Pools and Spas, their showroom is open in Athens right off the interstate. You can stop by and check out the best hot tubs and spas in the market. And then delivery, yes, they can do that to Knoxville or Chattanooga. They've got complete support, spa cover, and chemicals to keep your spa bubbling at its best. They also have pool chemicals as well. Dynasty Pools and Spas, amazing discounts for first responders, military, and even some blemish models that can save you a ton, and no one will ever notice. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Dynasty Pools and Spas. Go to dynastypoolsandspas.com or stop by that showroom in Athens. dynastypoolsandspas.com. Dynasty Pools and Spas. Jimmy, so Willie Martinez has been no factor, a factor, a significant factor, the factor in why Tennessee's defensive backs have not been very good under Josh Heupel.
All right, let me start with this. A star rating is not 100% accurate, but they're usually pretty good. In my opinion, if you took the star ratings of the cornerbacks and applied that to the performance, it would rank among the worst on Tennessee's team. I think the wide receivers have performed to their star ratings for the most part, going through the whole group, defensive line, whatever position. To me, the safeties have underperformed the most based on their star rating, which leads me to this. I think that Willie Martinez has been a significant factor in why the secondary has not performed better.
I agree with that. Significant, not the factor. Caleb, you?
I have to agree with you guys. And I don't want to. I think it's more about – I think it's more at safety than cornerback, to be fair, because Kamal Hadden did develop at cornerback from 2022 to 2023 before he suffered a season-ending injury. And we did see massive improvement. But I have to agree, there have been issues in the secondary with lack of development. And this isn't the first time we saw that. Jimmy, you were there covering the 2016 team. Bob Shoop got there and was supposed to be a defensive genius, and the secondary couldn't cover anything when Willie Martinez was there with him. And it was a total disaster. And honestly, we're seeing kind of the same thing now. And at what point, guys, do you say Everybody says, well, Willie Martinez is a great recruiter. Well, what's the point of that if you can't actually coach them to play up to their star ratings, as Jimmy talks about?
Good point.